My son's teacher is sleeping with my lover, and she's threatening to expose us. I was running late for parent-teacher conferences when Mrs. Hendricks cornered me. I understand your trust issues after what Leland did with the offshore accounts, but Jaden is adjusting well despite everything. I froze in the classroom doorway. My ex-husband's gambling debt and the hidden bank accounts were sealed in our divorce records. How could my son's new third-grade teacher possibly know? I'm sorry, what did you just say? She smiled warmly, organizing papers on her desk. Just that children are resilient, even after parents lose life savings to addiction. I never told you about any of that. Oh, you must have mentioned it at orientation, but I hadn't attended orientation. I'd been in depositions that day, still fighting Leland for child support. Throughout the 20-minute conference, she dropped more bombs. She knew about my miscarriage between Jaden and what would have been his sister. She referenced my mother's Alzheimer's diagnosis, which I'd told no one at school. She even mentioned the exact words Leland had used when he'd asked for the divorce. Jaden talks quite a bit, she explained when I questioned her. Children tell teachers everything, but Jaden didn't know these things. I'd shielded him from the worst of the divorce. I studied Mrs. Hendricks more carefully. Mid-20s, auburn hair, pretty in an effortless way. She'd started 3 months ago, replacing Mrs. Garcia, who'd mysteriously taken early retirement. Something about her smile seemed familiar but wrong, like a word mispronounced. Has Leland been in contact with the school? I asked carefully. Parents aren't supposed to discuss each other during conferences, she said, but her eyes glinted. Though I understand why you'd be concerned, given the restraining order. The restraining order was temporary and had expired. Only 3 people knew it had ever existed: me, Leland, and our lawyers. My hands started shaking. That night, I called my lawyer. She confirmed no school officials had requested records. The information was sealed and would require a court order to access. I dug through social media, searching for anything about Mrs. Hendricks. Her Facebook was sparse, created just 4 months ago. No history before her hiring at Jaden's school. But in one photo, I saw it. A reflection in her sunglasses. A man taking the picture. The shape of his shoulders. The watch on his wrist. I'd bought that watch for Leland's birthday 5 years ago. I drove back to school the next morning, demanding answers from the principal. Mrs. Hendricks came highly recommended, Principal Davies assured me. Excellent references from her previous school in Oregon. Did you verify those references? Of course. She's been wonderful with the children. Jaden especially seems to love her. That made my stomach turn. Jaden had been coming home with stories about his amazing teacher, how she knew his favorite foods, his favorite games, understood him better than anyone. Now I realized why. She'd been coached by his father. I hired a private investigator. Within a week, he had answers that confirmed my worst fears. Kenzie Hendricks was her real name, but she'd never taught in Oregon. She'd been a bartender in Atlantic City until 6 months ago. That's where she'd met Leland during one of his gambling binges. The investigator had photos. Leland and Kenzie at casinos, restaurants, hotels. The timeline was damning. They'd been together for a year, while we were still married, while I was trying to save our family. Now she was playing teacher to get access to our son. There's more, the investigator said. She's been documenting everything. Photos of Jaden, recordings of conversations, detailed notes about your routines. She texts Leland updates throughout the day. That's insane. Why would they do this? Your ex is building a custody case. He needs evidence that Jaden would be better off with him. What better witness than a teacher? I felt sick. I went to the police but was told no crime had been committed. She was a real teacher with real credentials, just obtained recently. Dating a student's father wasn't illegal. The school said without proof of inappropriate behavior with Jaden, their hands were tied. So I played my own game. I started documenting everything, recording pickups and drop-offs, saving every communication. I even put a recorder in Jaden's backpack, which revealed Kenzie asking probing questions about our home life. The custody petition arrived 2 weeks later. Leland was seeking full custody, citing concerns about my mental health and stability. His star witness, Jaden's teacher, who'd observed troubling behavior and parental inadequacies. The hearing was set for next month. Kenzie would testify about my erratic conference behavior and paranoid accusations. Leland would paint me as unstable, seeing conspiracies where there was just a dedicated teacher. But yesterday, something changed. Kenzie pulled me aside at pickup, her mask finally slipping. You should stop digging into my past, she said quietly. Leland isn't the only one I've done this for. And the last mother who tried to fight back. Well, her son doesn't go to this school anymore. Full story on channel linked below.